Hey everyone, just Matt, hope you're well. I'm just starting this live recording now a couple of minutes early so that before Lou comes on board, we have a few of you live and ready to go. So this little live Q&A is going to be with Lou Brown, and for those of you who haven't seen, I'm sure you all have, Lou obviously did really well a few weeks ago, breaking the Merino record. So I wanted to just bring him on board so that we could all have a chat and you get a chance to answer your questions. So as more and more people come on, hi James, how you doing? As more and more people come on board, then what I'll do is I just want you to pop your questions, if you've got them for Lou, in the comments section, so that during this live feed we can actually sort of start answering some of your questions as well, live in the feed. I've got a list of things that I want to talk to Lou about as well, and questions that have already come on from there. So if you can just pop your questions below, say hi, just so I know that you can hear me in the comments. That'd be really good too. Hey Cartwright, how you doing, mate? Yeah, just pop them. Just pop a little yes, so I can hear you, Matt, in the video, just so that this whole interview isn't a waste of time for you guys. So we're going to be covering a little bit on background, so some of Lou's background in shearing. We're also going to cover some of what his goals were, what his dreams were as well, and in terms of his inspiration for doing the record, but also in regards to his people who've inspired him, and everything that he's done before that. So preparation in terms of his shearing and his training that we did with him, but also in terms of the mental side of it and the belief and the process that he went through and the challenges he went through along the way. And that's sort of an acknowledgement, really, I guess, that there is never a perfect time to start any of these things, and I'm sure you guys can apply that to other areas of your life. So yeah, and then in terms of the nutrition, sort of both outside of the record but also during the record day as well. So loads of stuff for us to cover, but I really want to get some specific questions from you guys who are watching live on this video. Okay, so just for a couple of minutes, I'm going to let you just post below. I know there's 8 of you watching because I can see in the top corner of the screen. So just pop your comments below so I know that you can hear me, and then whilst you're doing that, I can just scroll through and make sure everybody's connected. Hey Cartwright, yeah, good mate. Yep, good. So we've got that happening. Share performance. Awesome. Right, well, we've got a couple of minutes until Lou's going to come on board. But just going to make sure that everybody is ready. And the main man himself is watching now as well, which is always good because it makes it a lot easier for me to bring him on screen. Hey Lou. That's good. So yeah, don't be shy, guys. Just bang on those questions that you've got, and then we'll get going real soon. Obviously, just in the meantime, for those of you who perhaps aren't familiar, in the records, there's always a wall weight that has to be achieved for the records. There are certain criteria and the drafting process that happens to those sheep as well. So these are regulated records. So it's an official world record that Lou set as well. Stanley, my man from Ireland, how you doing, mate? What a man. I'll be speaking to you later, Stanley. I missed your call there, so I'll give you a shout. Hey Tom, how you doing, mate? Tom's on board. I think Tom's from Cornwall, so he's pretty close to me, which is cool. Hey Kel, or Steve. How you doing, guys? Cool, well listen, it's now 10 past, so we're going to get going with this video. So I'm going to bring Lou on screen. So just give me a chance. I'm going to try and do that right now. No, it's not. Well, alright, let's see. Just invited Luke, so hopefully he'll get that. And he'll be able to come on screen. As if by magic. See how it goes. So hopefully, Lou, you'll get a request from me soon to come on, and then that should be easy enough to accept. And then we'll be able to see you on the screen as well. Good. If you're just joining the broadcast, don't forget to pop your questions below in the comment section. I'm sure you may get some inspiration as we go through. But yeah, any questions you want answered, just let us know and pop them in the comment section below. Yeah, maybe you're planning to doing something like this yourself, or perhaps you just want to know a little bit more detail about a specific aspect of the day that I can't help you with, and Lou will probably be able to help you with. So yeah, let's see if we can help that, get that happening. Right, Lou. Hopefully, I have requested you to come on board. See if I can invite you again, Luke. Hey Nathan, how you doing? Let's see if we can get this going on. Can you see my invite there, Luke? Just pop me a private message here on Facebook just in case. No, nothing yet, he's saying. Yep, could be in Messenger, mate. Have a quick look. Just make sure you're watching the live stream. Yeah, make sure you're live there watching it with us again, Lou. Hopefully you're watching it there. If you request to join us there, oh, good questions, Zach. I'm just inviting you, so just make sure you're live there, watching it live with us, Lou, and then we'll be all good to go in a minute. You should get that request come through. Here we go. Let's see what happens. Connecting. Good stuff. We're good to go, I think. There he is.
Cool.
Boom.
Okay.
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good.
Thank you for
You hear me all right?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Just recovering from a nice little triathlon yesterday. So if I look a bit gaunt.
Oh no, all good.
Yeah.
I know the feeling. Oh.
So thanks obviously for coming on, Lou. I know you've well, it's towards the end of the day for you now. So yeah, just wanted to kind of have this conversation with you and let everybody who's in the group kind of have access to some of the information that that you've learned from your journey, and hopefully inspire more people to do great things, whether it be in shearing or whatever, any aspect of their life. So just wanted to start a little bit with your background, Lou, because I know, obviously I've got to know you a little bit better over the last few months, but there'll be some people in the group who don't. So maybe you could just give us a little bit of information on kind of like where you started, what got you into shearing, and yeah, and who were your inspirations along the way.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I first flew over with my old man. We landed over the eastern states of Australia, and well, even just all my life since a kid, I've always wanted to be a shearer. I always knew I was going to be a shearer. And because I think I come over here for a bit of work on my school holidays with the old man, and was working with Cartwright. I think I was 12 years old then, And I left my bag of lollies on the table and woke up in the morning and they were gone. Cartwright had eaten them. I asked him if he wanted one, so he got stuck into them. But it was quite a unreal experience. My dad said, like the world record holders in that room there, like, so it was sort of quite freaky feeling. So I was sort of always looking at him while he was asleep. I was thinking, far out, the man's in there. So ever since then, I've sort of, I don't know then if I wanted to do a record or not, but I really aspired to him and it grew on me.
What was it? It sort of about. What was it? You obviously being around someone who was that good, it is always going to pull you forward. So, what was it about Cartwright that really kind of got you? About his personality. What did you like about him in terms of what made you think, "Oh, I want to be like that person"? Just more than just a shearer.
Just the athleticism and just just really humble, and people just looked up to him, and he just always gave people, like, he was always there for advice and always gave good advice. And I sort of just sat back as a kid because I was only filling up the pens at the time, and I was just really, I was watching him all the time and just really looked up to him, and it was huge for me.
Yeah, brilliant. So, at what point did you think you wanted to kind of do a record as well as obviously doing your shearing? Was it when did you think? When was it that you thought, "Oh, that'd be real good"?
Yeah, I think me and my two older brothers, because my two older brothers and my old man all taught me how to shear, and we've all, like, as brothers do, we're always, dreamers, I suppose. We always spoke about it, and I just never gave up on it or anything. Like, my brothers always helped me and pushed me through it, and I think we always spoke about it, but I just never gave up on it, just kept pushing for it, and
yeah,
I just really wanted it.
And would it have always been a merino record, or did you have your eyes on another one?
Any record. I think just any shearing record would have been good.
Yeah.
But I considered myself to be more of a merino shearer because I learnt on merinos. So.
Yeah. Good. So let's just talk a little bit about kind of the preparation that goes into shearing. So you know a lot more about the sort of record side of things, but I think it'd be really interesting to maybe share that with some of the people watching, because some of the people watching may want to do a record. It might not be a world record, but it might be a national record or something like that, or maybe even be like a not even an individual one, but maybe a 3-stand or maybe 4-stand, whatever. So it'd be quite cool, I reckon, if you could maybe just share with people like a little bit about the kind of like some of the finer details that maybe I'm not aware of, or maybe other people aren't aware of, in terms of the setting up of a record.
Yeah, I think it's just, if it's a dream of yours, whatever it is, it doesn't have to be with shearing or anything, but like, I think if it's always there and you're always thinking about it, I think just go ahead with it. There's never a right time, and life's never going to be perfect for you to go and do it. I think if the opportunity's there, I think you just take it, any opportunity with whatever, and everything else, you set your date and make sure you do everything you can to prepare yourself for that day, I suppose.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. Most of us, like, if we set a date to do something and work towards it, like, I talk to other people about booking an event or something like that. So book it, and then we'll figure out a way of getting there.
Yeah, definitely.
I wouldn't advise that necessarily every time, but at the same time, sometimes it takes you from procrastination to doing, doesn't it? You sort of think about something.
Yeah. Put your hand up and say, "Yeah, I'll do it," and just do it. Like, I wasn't ready at all. I was sort of being homeless, and through this whole training, since I said yes, I've had a pretty hard time with life and everything. Like, I was even going through a hard time before I even said yes, but I thought, well, if it's not going to be now, it'll be never.
Yeah.
So I just put my hand up, we set the date, and I just sort of come backwards from there, and then just started working forward. And I just never, there's a lot of self-doubt, everything negative gets thrown at you, just push it away, and just, if you want it bad enough, you'll get it.
Yeah, good man. So, what about in terms of your shearing preparation, mate? Tell us a little bit about what you did for your shearing in the months leading up to the record. Like, I mean, I know you shore for a long time before that, but like, what did you do? What did you do? Like, in terms of, in your head, you were thinking specifically about the record. What were you doing shearing wise to prepare yourself?
Yeah, it was because you're not shearing record sheep every day. but you are training and you are doing your best to eat healthy and you are doing your best with your training and just going to work and just trying to relax is the big thing I found was just relax and make sure that you do your 8 hours of work, so you're not mucking around during the run, and your concentration is during that whole 2 hours of shearing. Then you have your rest. That was the biggest thing for me because we were shearing some pretty ugly sheep around this place, and like I just had to not set my sights too high and blow myself out. So I'd just sit 55, 60 a run, and as long as it was a concentrated 2 hours, and
nice.
just make sure I look after my body as well. So
I think that's one of the things that in endurance activities, we get like a little bit caught up in like, oh, but surely if we're going to do a 9-hour day or an 8-hour day or whatever we're going to do, we get caught up in like, oh, we must make it more intense. But actually, like, what we need to do is become really efficient.
Definitely.
In some respects, it's quite easy to go hard, like, but it's not easy to be able to sustain an effort. And that's certainly something I would pass on. Like, in terms of my sort of triathlon background, is it's actually quite easy to do a hard session. It's not always easy to do something that's going to make you better in the long run because you can't see the short-term gains.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So, in regards to your training, obviously I know what you did, but what would you, if someone was going to ask you, like, if you were talking to someone else, like, and someone said to you, oh, what sort of training did you do? How would you describe it?
Oh, a really smart program is the way I would call it. I was wondering, when is this really going to kick in? And I was thinking, gee, I found it all really weird because I thought coming in to train for a record, I'd be just, running a ridiculous amount of Ks, coming back just absolutely buggered. That's the sort of training I had in mind. But it was actually really, really good training. Like the mobility that was involved in the muscle groups that I was working on was just perfect for shearing. It was just, I really felt it on the day, and the lead up to it, I felt really good at work, and it was sort of this strength cardio put into one type of the mobility sessions, everything.
Because I think, like, historically, from what I've read, in over the last few years of helping you guys do this, is like historically it's been like go shearing, go for a run after shearing, go swimming, which it's okay, but like I just felt there was just a much more efficient way of doing things. And obviously we haven't talked about the nutrition yet, but we will. But like in terms of the training, it's sort of like almost like less is more. And
definitely.
And I think sort of from a high impact point of view, like the running for me is one of those things where I think, well, maybe less impact on the lower back is probably a good thing long term for you guys. There's already enough stress going on there anyway. And maybe you'd be better placed sort of having an easier day one day with some exercise. So it's not that you do nothing, but you do some mobility, and then you move on and do, the next day you do a strength session, and the strength session is, all about keeping hold of the weight, and making sure it's like kind of all about strength and cardio at the same time, like you said. What would you, just on that, like in terms of your, we've got a couple of questions coming in there, I'm just going to come to them in a second, but in terms of the mental aspect of your preparation, some of the things you did before the record that you think helped, or any of the sort of thoughts you had?
Meditation was huge.
Okay, yep.
Because my relationships weren't going too good, because it is a selfish thing to take on something like this, and I think, just stressed, and I put a lot on her, and then would have a little fallout, and then only like just a lot of things, life, you've got your kids, you've got your bills, you've got everything, like nothing stops for you while you're going for your dreams or anything. Nothing stops. So you've got to make sure you stay in control of everything. So a good way for me was I was waking up extra early, go for just a light walk, and then go sit somewhere quiet and just close my eyes and just block out all the thoughts and stresses, and just slow myself down a bit, and then just realize what I'm doing and why I'm doing it.
Wow, awesome, mate. What like you said earlier, really was kind of waiting for the perfect time. Absolutely spot on. I remember I had a rugby coach that said to me once, "Oh, Matt, if you wait until you're fit, you'll never play." And
Yeah.
I never forget that. Actually, it was like a cold night in Wales. I think it was hammering it down with rain, and I had a load of hamstring injuries. And he said, "Well, if you wait until you're 100% fit, you'll never play." So I think like that, in terms of your perfect time. For a record, there's probably there's loads of variables, aren't there? Not just the ones you mentioned.
Yeah.
Obviously the sheep, the perfect sheep or whatever. And the team around you. That's something we should touch on, really. Because obviously I did a little bit, and you did like the most of it, all was on that day. But around you, there was a massive team, wasn't there?
Yeah, definitely.
What sort?
Best bunch of people I could ever think of.
Yeah, not so much their specific names as such, but like the sort of roles that you think are quite important on that day. That people may not, from outside of the records sort of scenario, may not be aware of. What sort of people did you have on board on the day?
Oh, like the people that make you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the people that you pick to have there is the people you want there, not people who want to be there. So, I picked a certain amount of the people I had picked as people that have always believed in me, even when I didn't believe in myself or everything. So that really kept me going through. I knew they had my back 100%.
Yeah, and did you sort of obviously had someone cooking your food for you on the day?
Yep. My partner was cooking.
Yep.
She prepped all my food and everything. Yep.
You had your pen guys as well, and other.
Yeah, I think Cartwright said whoever's doing your water, make sure they're onto it. No, it really made sense. So whoever's was doing my fluids, Andrew, a really good friend of mine, he was doing the water, and he really glad to be doing it, and he just done an amazing job. I was hydrated all day.
Yeah,
it was just
brilliant. And so in terms of the nutrition then and the hydration, just talk a little bit about that. Some of the things you learned.
Oh yeah, I didn't, because before you take on these things, you expect to know everything before you actually take on the challenge. But I didn't really have a fair dare on any of it. I wanted to do it, put my hand up, I done it, and I sort of just had to make everything fall in place towards the day. And I just learned lots about foods for recovery, foods for energy, and just hydration, how important that is, and your protein and your meal intake and times to eat and everything. It's amazing what happens when you actually just put your hand up and go for
it. Yeah. I think it's sort of almost like when you learn a little bit, you then realise that you don't know a lot, right? And it's just it really
that's right, spot on.
It opens your mind up a little bit, doesn't it? Every time you learn a little bit in somebody else's field, you kind of go, "Geez, this is amazing. I don't know anything. I know a lot. I thought I knew something. Now I know a little bit, and I feel like I don't know anything." It's just like
definitely.
So, a couple of questions come in there. So, one from Zach. Just wanted to know how your body was feeling a couple of days after the record.
Sore, really sore. I was as soon as I finished the record, I was couldn't touch my knees.
Yeah.
So my back was really, it just locked up. I think it's just the temperature thing as well. So my body's been hot, been working hardest day you ever work in your life, and I think at the end of it, like it wasn't wrecked, stuck. It was just worked. Like that's the way I'd put it. Like I wouldn't put it down to training or anything. It was just everything cooled off and it just locked up. And if your body's not doing that after something like that, you didn't go hard enough, I suppose. So.
Love it. What another question we got coming there is what gear did you use during the record? From Clint.
It's a secret. Nah.
Okay, cool.
We used diamond cutters, so it was all Heineken. I used all Heineken. I like Heineken gear. in the morning, I started off the first run using ninjas. They were quite thin because the sheep were a lot tighter in the morning, diamond cutters, and we ended up going to accelerated combs for the rest of the day. Different variations in thickness, but
yeah,
perfect combs for the sheep. So.
Cool. So, is there anything else you wanted to mention there, Lou? In terms of, hopefully you guys who are watching will pop up a few more questions for Lou. If you've got them, this is your opportunity. But is there anything else that you wanted to add in, Lou? Because I know when we've talked before, like there's sort of, on the mental side of it, the belief side of things. So, is there anything else you wanted to mention?
Yeah, just for anyone that's going out, and just don't wait. I think, you do it all. It's all calculated. It's all thing. I've sort of, I just keep trying, never give up. If you really want it bad enough, it'll happen. Give it time, be patient. But you got to just believe in yourself, believe in who you are, and whatever it is you want and why you're doing it. And life's never going to be perfect to go for something like this, but just get into it.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Get it done. Surround yourself by the right people, do the right training, eat the right food, and get into it.
I think that's like you say, you can't underestimate having the right people around you, can you?
It's important. Yeah.
If your environment's not quite right, then it only takes one little part of that environment to be slightly off and make a big difference.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, when I took on the challenge, I rang up Cartwright, his older brother. He's been a huge mentor of mine through my shearing, and even through Cartwright shearing. I asked him, because I flew to New Zealand, done some work there, and when I flew back to Australia, I had 2 months before the record. So I asked him, because he's such an awesome guy and like mentor of mine, and I asked him if I could live with him for the 2 months prior to the record, just the aura he gives, and I thought that would just benefit me huge, being around such a man. And so I lived with him for 2 months before the record, and he really looked after me, and it was a real relaxed environment. And so you sort of have to get out of your comfort zone and surround yourself fully by those people that you believe give you that lift and are there for you and for the right reasons, and that, so
sort of pushing you forward. So with that, we've had another question come in there from Zach. When you got the record, did you feel like pulling up, or was 500 always on the cards?
Yeah, 500 was on the cards. Definitely was. There's heaps of times I wanted to pull up, but it's same thing as the whole time I put my hand up for the record. I wanted to pull up. It's just thoughts. They just come in. You just got to push them off and keep going. You got to realize what you're in it for, and I was like that the whole time, training, everything. I could have given up in the first week of training and eating because I was missing my kids. I was in New Zealand and my kids in Australia, my partner's in Australia, and heaps of reasons you can give up, but you just don't. And it's the same thing if you, on the day you want to pull up, of course you want to pull up, but get rid of it and keep going.
Yeah, don't let your thoughts become things, eh? It's
yes, that's right.
Exactly that, mate. Like you say, all the way through anything that's tough, you just it's almost like your brain trying to tell you to stop doing something that's hard, So
because your brain could feel you're out of your comfort zone, so you're in no man's land. So all your brain wants to do is pull you back into that little comfort zone where you feel safe, and you know what's going to happen next. But when you're out there and you don't know what's about to happen, you don't know what you're getting into, your brain wants to pull you back, but just go with it and keep going.
Yeah. So another question's come in, mate. What record are you doing next?
Anyone except the cross free runners. I don't know, just whatever. It's family time at the moment. I did speak to the farmer about other records, and he told me, we'll just enjoy this one for now, and that was exactly what I needed. So I didn't want to get too carried away straight away. So he just said, enjoy this one for now and rest, catch up with your family. And it was the perfect advice. So
Yeah. No,
I respect him for that.
What about this question here from Kevin? Any advice for young shearers trying to break through to that next level, i.e. senior to open class?
We all, I suppose it depends what we're talking about here, if it's show shearing or anything. But
No, I can ask him, Kevin.
I think what we do,
Kevin, if you want to be specific with your question, like in terms of show shearing or whatever, then maybe Lou will just be able to just pop that in the comments, mate, and then at least Lou will be able to say, a bit more specifically for you. But yeah, you're right.
I think what it is too, it is the same as comfort zones. I think whether it be show shearing or record shearing, I'd say it's what we do is we find ourselves in a bracket, and once we're in this bracket, it's hard getting there. So once we're there, it's a little comfort zone. We seem to sit there for a long time, and we can go to work and almost do it with our eyes closed, but it's the pushing from there to the next bracket.
Yeah.
There's no, you might be an intermediate open shear or whatever, because in the opens there's about another 6 brackets. So it's just about getting to this bracket to that bracket. It's hard. The push is hard, and you may only push for a half a day, but you just keep consistently trying to get to that next bracket. Once you're in that bracket, it'll become comfortable, and we just keep pushing to the next, I suppose.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I like that. Like, break it down, like you say, is once you get there, you're not really there, because like you say, even within that bracket, there's different people doing different things, and that's definitely goes for other sports as well. Like you start to get into the top 10, and then even within the top 10, there's leagues in there too. So yeah. Question here: how many sheep did you do daily before the record? Okay, so how many sheep were you shearing a day before the record?
On merino ewes, I was shearing around 230 to 240 a day.
Yeah.
I'd have my runs where the sheep are looking all right, and I know I've got the right comb on, the right sheep, and I was feeling good, and I had some nice lunch. I thought I'd just have a go for a run and just push it to 80, 90 a run from 60, 70. So just to see how my body was coping, and to work on, the things I have been working on, which was positioning, my blows, my pattern, my everything, and not pushing it too hard, not going too hard, just concentrated chaos. I suppose.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, cool. Well, there are a few more questions. Well, I'm just waiting for Kevin to see if he pops up, and but I think you probably answered his question really. I mean, I don't want to take up all night for you, Lou, but is there anything else you want to add before we break off? Because appreciate your time.
Yeah, no, I just hope everyone, it's only, as Cartwright's told me, it's only information, but it's what you do with it, I suppose. So I hope you all take something away, and hope I can help in any way. It'd be good.
Yeah, and on that, like in terms of helping, I know we've sort of we've done a few shear performance seminars. Matt Smith and I have done a few shear performance seminars around the place. So we've done a few in Norway, and we did a few around the UK as well. I did one in New Zealand whilst I was there, and so something that if anybody wants us to look at doing with you guys over in Australia as well, then we would love to share some of this information with them. So I guess just pop a comment below, and everybody can let us know. But there's another question there in terms of did you find doing your gear was a hard aspect of shearing?
Yeah. Prior to it, I'm still working on it. I'm still learning. I still think I don't really get a good cut. Everyone looks at me now, you get an awesome cut. So I think it's whatever you think you're doing, but there's always room for improvement, definitely. But on the record day, I did have a gear man that was just spot on. Ray was really good. He done everything. Couldn't ask for better.
Yeah. So Reese just asked a question about what combs you use on the day, but we've already answered that. That was the Ninjas and the Accelerate ones. Yeah. So that's all good. So we've answered that question. So that's good. Yeah, and Kevin said, in regards to his sort of step up from senior to open, he said he's stuck where he's to because he's comfortable. He's finding it hard to improve in most areas, speed, and consistency. And does it come down to the mental side of things, which I think you've probably answered, really, haven't you? It's about yourself outside your comfort zone. Again.
Give it a nudge and get to the next one.
Yeah. So, yeah. Right, mate. Well, I'm going to let you crack on because I know we could probably stay on here for probably 3 hours.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So, we'll if there's any more questions that pop up later on, then I'm sure we'll figure out a way of getting them.
Do my best. Yeah.
But yeah, if you've missed some of the videos, skip back through and have a watch because I'm sure some of the things that Lou said, some of the basics that we've covered there, are the things that we all need to pay attention to. So, whether it be the preparation side of things, from your day in, day out shearing to your, to your training, to your nutrition, to your lifestyle, and including that, your hydration and your mental belief and the things you do, and surrounding yourself with people who push you forwards and, having a team of people around you who are humble, but also want you to strive on so they don't sort of press your excitement for record, those sort of, big tallies or whatever it is you want to achieve. So be around people who light your fire, really, because those people are the ones you want around you on the day as well. So cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lou. Appreciate your time, mate. Really do.
Awesome, bro. Anytime.
All right, mate.
Good on you, Matt. Thanks for everything.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Stuff, man.